Welcome back to Half A Hot Rods. If you haven't been here before, my name is Adam, and I'm just a regular guy. I'm here to prove you don't need all the time, tools, or money in the world to have fun with old cars and trucks. If you haven't been here before, this is my 57 Chevy pickup. I put it on a 97 Chevy chassis, and we are in the process of, last time I got the 454 stuff all figured out so that I knew what I needed to touch to which wire to make the engine run basically as a standalone harness. Now we're going to add a hot rod harness. So this part will be just like if you were doing it on any other hot rod. This is a universal hot rod harness I got off Amazon. I've already gone through and marked, kind of separated things out. This is the rear. This is under the hood, that's lights and stuff. And I've gone through, followed the instructions which say, pull out the stuff you're not going to use, cut it off. I haven't cut it off yet because some of it I've remarked for other things. And again, I use their instructions as a guideline for that because then I can reuse, like I don't have power windows, but I do have an electric air pump for my compressed air for my airbags on the back. So we'll repurpose that for that. We'll just have to make sure I mark the circuit for it. So, for now, the next step for me is to get under this truck and pull out all the old light wiring and such, and then get it ready to run new. And then I'll be back once I've got that done. Here we go. So if you're going to be shoving your hands into tight spaces to try and dig wires out, probably a good idea to take the ring off so you don't get your fingers caught and get stuck and then just have to scream until your wife comes to rescue you. Just saying.
I want to play a game.
What are you doing? You want some spicy pine cones? Tail lights and trailer wiring. Fuel pump. Tail light wiring harness all the way to the front. Alright, let's see where we get next. So I started on the passenger side rear and worked over and up, and I'll start on the passenger side front and work over and back, because basically all the wiring originates from the driver's side firewall. So we're working our way back to that. Well, all the light wiring is out front and rear, so that's good. Time to move on to the interior. Luckily I've got help today. Are you helping? Oh yeah, he's definitely rewiring. What's the matter? You feel guilty? No? Lug nut. Lug nut. Lug nut. Okay. So now we move on to the interior, and some of that wiring I'll keep because I just redid it for gauges and stuff. But a lot of that wiring we will not keep because, yeah, yucko. All right, so here we go. Let's pull this out. All right. This should all be ignition switch. This should be turn signal switch. This should be brake switch. Woo! Now we're cooking with gas. I don't really know what that light. I think that's my charging light, maybe. I don't know. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Turn the lights off so the battery don't go dead. Probably take the ignition switch out so we can just confirm wire path, etc. We know the purple wire's crank, and probably the big red ones are one's in and one's out. We just want to make sure. Let me get that park and brake out of here. I ain't ever going to use it. Well, it took me like an hour and a half, but I made a plate to cover the original hole where the factory wiring came through the firewall, which resulted in, oh, I got it up here, like this big of a hole. So pretty good size. To cover that hole and then mount the new fuse box 2. And then, as luck would have it, there's already an 1.5 inch or 1.25 inch round hole above it, which is what the instructions call for to start passing stuff through. So now we will start passing the wiring through, just following the instructions. And we'll start with the front, I think. After selecting the location, determine the best place to mount the horn relay, which is just tied to it, so I can do that too. Now the fuse panel and horn relay are mounted. Note where the front section wires exit the panel. Find a spot on the firewall where these wires can enter the engine compartment without interfering with other components. Blah, blah, blah. 1.25 inch hole, and install the grommet we got in the kit. Alright, we'll pass the front section wires through one at a time, just like the instructions say. Through a 1.25 hole? We get at least most of them. Okay, I'll be back. Well, it's about an hour and a half later, and I think I got everything pulled through the firewall. We got engine, front lights. The rear lights were kind of confusing, and I got them all pulled through here, but I kept feeling like I had extra of one of them, and I finally sorted through it, and I did have extra for the left turn and then left backup light. So I start tracing both wires to see where they went, and wouldn't you know, they go to each other. They weren't connected to the fuse panel at all. So I just ran the two up into here, and then I'll figure out where to hook them in. I want to say they're going to come out of, one of them's going to come out of the headlight switch. They both might come out of the headlight switch, actually. I got to figure that out. But they're in here. These are a bunch of sender wires that I probably won't use. There's some indicator lights that'll go in. There's still some stuff that I haven't pulled out yet that I've marked for removal. And then dash and turn signals and headlight and ignition switch. So yeah, I spent an hour and a half just fishing stuff through the firewall, which I'm pretty happy with. I mean, it all went through the grommet. I am a little concerned that this isn't going to be long enough. It was intended to run inside the car, which doesn't really work with a pickup. So it's going to run out the same way the factory one did, and down underneath. So I'm going to get to fishing that through there under the truck along the frame rail, and then we'll see where we end up. Alright, I'm not sure where I left off, but I was having trouble getting the fuel pump to come on, so everything wouldn't fire up, but I figured that out accidentally, actually. I was working through some other stuff, just going to find an accessory that would come on and then run that wire to the fuel pump, and I got in here, I'm like, well, I need to wire up my ignition switch. So I got that done, and then I didn't have any power to my power windows or anything else that I thought would come on. So then I figured out that I need to have the accessory wire is not for the accessory position for the ignition switch, but also for accessories. So yeah, I'm not using a GM ignition switch, so I didn't use their plug, so I had to figure out the wiring on my own. But I've got it to where it's got power when you turn it on, and actually that I was just cranking it to see if it would still crank, and the battery's disconnected. But I bumped the key once, and much to my surprise, it started. So let me show you that. So we're up on blocks. We got no parking brake. We got no clutch interlock. We got, none of that stuff you should have. So make sure it's in neutral.
Great success.
That's pretty cool. I'm really excited about that. But also I don't want to die, so we're not going to let it run long because we still got a lot to do. Got my airbag switch wired in, but then I saw I had a wire running under here, so I decided to reroute it and get it out of the way. So now it tucks into the loom. It ran with this air hose, but now it tucks into the loom, runs up over. This is all my ignition switch wiring. That one there is other stuff that's going to come into play later. And then we still got turn signals and headlights and all that to figure out. And then out here, I think I've got everything pretty well hooked up. I'm going to have lots of extra possible power supplies coming off this factory fuse box now that I'm not using it. So I'll probably leave it hooked up, but pull the fuses for the stuff I'm not using. And then the fuel pump trigger wire that comes straight out of the new fuse box and goes straight to the fuel pump, I'm going to run through the factory fuel pump relay so that it's still working with all the fuel injection stuff. So that's where we're at. We're going to keep cranking along. It's hard to see any of this because you're just routing wires and then you're pulling loom, and it's very tedious work. But I will bring you back when there's more to tell. All right, we got the headlight switch wired up the way I think it goes. Just buttoned up some more wiring. Battery's fully charged. Plugged my air compressor pump back in. I guess we're going to find out if we got lights, because we should have all our lights now. I turned the lights off in the shop on that end to see if we could see better. Even installed the thing, the Chingadera. The dimmer switch. So, get this other relay out of the way. The relay that it said to mount in like step 3. We won't have brake lights yet because we don't have a brake light switch hooked up. But hopefully we have tail and maybe even turn. And we got nothing. Okay. Neat. That's cool. Oh, keys off. Keys on. Let's try key on. I saw something.
That's the smell of failure.
We got markers. Hey, we got both markers. Oh, I don't have the headlights in. That'll slow that down.
You idiot!
And we got tails. Oh, those are... That's not going to be what I need. Those smoked lenses show... smoked lenses show clear through. So I need orange LED bulbs. And I'll have to put the headlights back in and if I want the headlights to work. Alright, carry on. I'll be back. Yeah, that's not going to get any light out of that. Or that. Duh. It's been a long day. And when I took those apart, it was like 2 weeks ago. I'll be back. Alright, headlights, park lights, tail lights. Take 2. Park lights, headlights, low beams, high beams. Look at that! We made something work! We got tail lights. We got headlights. Do we have turn signals? Wouldn't that be neat? Oh, probably not without the key on. Let's try key on. And we don't have any blinky. So I may have something hooked up around there. They're coming on, but they're not blinking. So, yeah. I'm not sure what that's about, but we'll figure it out. How are we getting? We got nothing at the back either. Feels a lot like it did before. But we have headlights. We have markers all the way around. Markers that are clear and really need to be read. But we'll take it. It's progress. It's progress. We'll take it. And that looks so freaking cool. Alright. That might be enough for one night. It's about 8 o'clock, 8:30. What time is it? 8 o'clock. So we may have to call it a night for tonight. And on a semi-success. We don't have blinking turn signals. But heck, I might not have a flasher plugged in all the way. The fuse block isn't mounted solid yet either. We may also have a problem in our aftermarket steering column. Or they may run through the brake switch. I don't know. We'll figure that out another time. As for right now, we have lights. The truck starts and runs. We've still got a ways to go. We got alternator wiring. We got to wrap up the stuff we're not using on the engine harness. But yeah, that's great success. Whoa, whoa, wee, whoa. All right, we'll be back at it hopefully tomorrow. Before we wrap this up, here's something I haven't done in a while. It's gone over everything I used. We used an Amazon harness, We used an Amazon harness, a bunch of wire connectors, butt connectors, a few ring connectors, a few spade connectors. Really didn't use a lot of specialized tools, but I did start using, at Maverick's suggestion finally, these heat shrink connectors, and they are awesome. For a guy that actually didn't used to use heat shrink at all, pretty fantastic. These are all the wires I cut out of the new harness that we didn't need. We ended up wrapping a bunch of stuff in electrical tape had to add our own grounds where they were needed. These are the fuses that I pulled out for systems we didn't need. Used a bunch of zip ties, a couple of grommets. This old Haynes manual came in clutch, getting everything put together, figuring out the standalone and then tying stuff together to make the standalone work with the Amazon harness, because neither one was intended to work with the other. And the instructions from the harness, and then some internet searching when that other stuff fell short. And LT1.com helped me out a bunch with their harnesses on what worked for what and that kind of thing. It's all out there on the internet. If you're willing to take the time to figure it out and dig into it, you can cut out all this and put in all new and make it work. All right. Well, this is a really hard thing to film, I've learned, but I followed the instructions. I cut out the stuff I didn't need, most of it. The stuff that I thought I might still need a circuit later, I just pulled the fuse for it so it wasn't powered, kept the wire coiled up and tucked it out of the way. And this is as done as it's going to get for now. We've got engine side all back together. I still need to find a horn. That's what that blue-green wire is coiled up, waiting to be a horn. And then all the factory stuff that I didn't use is tucked away, and then I pulled the fuse for each of those circuits. So there's not much going on in that fuse box, but we've still got the essentials, you know. So was I successful with this? I'd say yeah. We got all the lights that we have to drive it down the road. We've got headlights, turn signals, kind of. My turn signals don't blink, and I don't know why. But all my gauges light up when I turn my headlights on. I said they do. With the keys on. Oh. Battery's disconnected. Headlights aren't working either. I still don't trust it 100% where I'm just leaving the battery hooked up all the time. And since this isn't going anywhere and it's not going to be charging, it's probably not a great idea anyway. Alright, let's try this again. Let's see if the gauges light up. Yeah, when the lights are turned on. And we've got headlights out there. And look at this, I even managed to get myself a high beam indicator on the dash. And we turn the key on so we can do turn signals. I still don't know why they don't blink on their own. But I got 12 volt bulbs in the factory sockets and tied them into the new harness. So, and make sure we're out of gear so we don't jump off the blocks, because I didn't hook up neutral safety or any of that nonsense. We can start and run a fuel injected 454 from the key, attached to an Amazon harness, and then tied into my do-it-yourself standalone harness for the engine. I had no idea whether this was going to be successful or if I was going to throw it all away and put a carburetor on this truck. So, once again, I proved it. If I can do it, you can do it. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next round. If you like what we're doing, give us a like, subscribe, comment. Tell me if you've managed something like this or if you want to give it a shot. See you next time.